Yo, what is going on, guys? CWpoke here, back with a brand new VGC 2016 analysis video, and in today's episode we are going to be analyzing Mega Rayquaza. Now, when VGC 16 rules were first announced, people were looking at Mega Rayquaza kind of like, isn't this thing going to be incredibly broken and powerful and it's going to destroy everything? And it turns out it actually hasn't been that strong of a threat. However, it is still incredibly strong. It may not be as used as Primal Groudon or Xerneas, but it is an incredibly strong threat, a very fierce opponent, and something you should definitely be prepared for. So we're going to be analyzing it today so you guys make sure you understand how to stop it. Now, its abilities, it starts off with Airlock before Mega Evolving, and then it has Delta Stream, and we'll talk about these abilities later. Now, for its typing, it is Dragon Flying, which is a pretty decent typing. Means it's only weak to, I believe, Ice, Dragon, Fairy, and Rock. I believe those are the ones, so not weak to too much, but it does have some big weaknesses that you can exploit. Now, its base stats are 105 HP and 100 defense and special defense, which is fairly bulky. It's actually not too bad for a restricted legendary. Most of them seem to be a little bit more frail on at least one of those stats, so not bad. And its base attack and special attack are a whopping 180, which is one of the strongest things we've seen so far. It's strong on both sides of the spectrum. Most of the time you're going to be seeing it using that attack stat, and you'll see why in a little bit. But, you know, it definitely has a lot of good special tagging moves it can use as well, so that's something to really keep in mind. It can hit super hard on both ends of the spectrum. Now, its speed is 115 base speed, which is really fast for what we've been seeing. One of the fastest threats in the metagame. Something to definitely be scared of for certain. But something really important to notice too is that it starts off with 95 base speed before it Mega Evolves. So this is actually something that can be used for your benefit. This means that a Mega Rayquaza, before it actually Mega Evolves, is probably going to want to protect and kind of burn a turn in order to Mega Evolve safely, or it's going to have a single turn where it's just not the fastest Pokemon out there right away, you know. So these are some things that you can kind of exploit. Use that free turn to set up on your own team and help you get ready to prepare for the big, strong Mega Rayquaza, or just use it as the time to get some good damage off if it's not the fastest thing out there yet. So that's something to really keep in mind when you're building teams against it. Now, looking at its common moves from top to bottom, top being the most common obviously, it's going to have Dragon Ascent. That is pretty much a given because this move allows it to Mega Evolve. Now, this move I believe is 120 base power, and it's a flying type attack, which is good because Rayquaza gets a stab bonus on it, same type attack bonus, and it does a huge amount of damage. But one thing to also keep in mind about this move is it does lower the user's defense and special defense by 1. So after it uses it, it actually becomes a lot more frail. So that is another thing to keep in mind when you're trying to worry about how do I actually beat this thing? How do I stop it? And why is it not, you know, incredibly broken? Now, other really good moves are Extreme Speed for a very strong priority attack. Waterfall, maybe if you want to try and handle things like Primal Groudon and you feel comfortable that it won't get the sun up. Or Draco Meteor if you want to exploit that heavy special attacking side as well. Again, for the special attacking side, you have moves like Overheat for those steel types. You have Earth Power as well, a good move again for Primal Groudon. And then there's also good, strong physical moves like Dragon Claw and Earthquake. So these are all some common items, or common moves that you'll be seeing. Now, for the common items, I decided to go ahead and look on the global link and check what were some of the most popular items being used. And at the current time, it looks like Life Orb is winning by a strong 52% of Rayquazas holding this item. Now again, just to kind of backtrack a second, it is Mega Rayquaza, but Mega Rayquaza is a special instance because it's the only Pokemon that can Mega Evolve without needing a Mega Stone. It needs Dragon Ascent in its moveset instead. So this is actually pretty cool because it allows it to use an item. So going back to these items, Life Orb is by far the most common, followed by Choice Band at 26%, Focus Sash at 12%, Lumberry at 5%, and then there were some other really small, very rare items that you don't see at all. A Life Orb does seem like one of the best options right now. I am a little surprised Choice Scarf wasn't really an option, but I guess that kind of makes sense. Choice Scarf Pokemon aren't being used a whole lot right now, so it doesn't seem to be too necessary for how fast Mega Rayquaza already is. So Life Orb or Choice Band, just to make sure it's hitting very hard, harder than it already would, are really good options here, and that's where you're probably going to be seeing the most. Now, the reason why it's so strong is because it's strong against just about everything. Nothing's really going to appreciate taking a strong Dragon Ascent, so Pokemon like Primal Groudon, Mega Kangaskhan, and Xerneas, some of the strongest Pokemon, if not the 3 most used Pokemon I believe, are still not very happy to see a Mega Rayquaza on the field. It does have some pretty strong power behind it and speed as well, so it outspeeds all these guys and it hits them incredibly hard. Now, it doesn't necessarily OHKO them. I believe it can, depending on if you put a Choice Band on it or not, in all honesty, but it does get some incredible damage off, which is a very crucial thing to have in this metagame. Just have enough damage to get these guys out in another hit. It's something that's really going to be a very popular thing. Now, what it's weak against, honestly, aren't anything too particular, except, you know, these Pokemon kind of showcase some extra instances that Rayquaza is weak against. Now, remember, Rayquaza has base 115 speed, meaning it's incredibly speedy. Now, that can actually be a bad thing if you have a Pokemon like Dialga on the field. Dialga doesn't appreciate taking a Life Orb Earthquake from Rayquaza, however, it can live it and then get a Trick Room setup, which is incredible. And then it can finish it off with Dragon-type stab attacks, you know, things like that. Mega Mawile, another example, has the Intimidate to help weaken it before it gets a hit off, and then it can finish it off with something like Play Rough. So these Pokemon aren't necessarily counters to it. I don't know if there's really a counter to Mega Rayquaza, it's just that strong. But these Pokemon can definitely, if you play them right, can easily handle Mega Rayquaza. Now, some other really good options that I didn't list here, but now that I think about it, are really good, are Pokemon like Landorus, Therian, and Thundurus, especially as a combination, because Landorus gets the Intimidate off, and then Thundurus also gets the Prankster Thunder Wave off, so it's able to cripple it on the speed tier and also cripple its attack stat with Landorus. So that's another really good combination and a very common combination. Now, I believe both Pokemon have kind of faltered a little bit in usage, but they may go back up. You never know. They were really prominent in VGC 15, so we may see them still come back this year as well. Now, another really cool thing about Mega Rayquaza, and this is where I encourage people to take a deeper look into Mega Rayquaza and make sure that you understand how you can really utilize it. Its abilities give it the ability to use a lot of synergizing tactics here. Now, Delta Stream is like a weather effect like Primal Kyogres and Groudons, where it actually sets a new weather on the field, and it's its strong wind current. Now, what this wind current does is it actually takes away flying type weaknesses. So if flying type is no longer weak to rock, to electric, which is incredibly useful here. Now, Pokemon like Togekiss are actually love to be partnered up with Mega Rayquaza, because what happens is the air current goes up and now Togekiss is no longer weak to rock or electric types. It's only weak to steel and poison types because of its fairy typing. Basically means it's a pure fairy type, while still getting a flying type stab attack, which is incredible. It also has the ability to use Follow Me, so it can redirect moves. Let's say you want to go for an Ice Beam, right? You see a Rayquaza out on the field and a Togekiss, and you're like, okay, I can Ice Beam this Rayquaza, and if he uses Follow Me, okay, fine, super effective damage on that too, I don't care. It actually isn't anymore because of the ability. Now Togekiss can take that Ice Beam and not really mind too much. It'll be okay. It's going to live it. It's a very bulky Pokemon. So it really has a lot of good synergizing tactics, especially for partnered flying types. Something that's really good to consider, especially with spread moves like Rock Slide. You know, normally really good. You wouldn't want to have double flying types out because of Rock Slide, but with Delta Stream it doesn't mind it as much. Now, another cool thing you can do too is with Primal Kyogre. You're seeing this is a very common core, Primal Kyogre and Rayquaza, because they support each other in abilities. Now, Primal Kyogre and Groudon have long kind of battled on the Weather War, and Primal Kyogre honestly loses that Weather War because on the surface, you know, if Primal Groudon's ability is up, water type attacks don't do anything. So that means Kyogre can't even hit Groudon with a strong water type attack, meaning it's basically pointless. It can hit hard with Ice Beam, but that's not strong enough. What you can do is, let's say I lead with my Primal Kyogre, and then my opponent switches in a Primal Groudon. So now the strong Sunlight is up, and I normally couldn't finish him off with a Water Spout. Well, what I could do on the same turn is actually switch my other Pokemon in for Mega Rayquaza, or even regular Rayquaza will work too, because if Airlock will do the same thing. It'll cancel the ability's effect. So what will happen is the strong current, Delta Stream, will actually trump Primal Groudon's ability, allowing me to use water moves again. So that way I'll be able to get the Water Spout off or whatever water type attack and actually OHKO the Primal Groudon. This is a really good backup option from Primal Kyogre, and this is why you're seeing it used so commonly with each other. They just support each other so well. So this is a very common core if you want to build a team around Primal Rayquaza or Mega Rayquaza. Primal Kyogre is a really good option to consider here. Now, looking at base movesets, honestly this is the only one I went with because it's not going to vary a whole lot, and if it does, it's going to be very situational. But what I have is a Rayquaza with a Life Orb, you know, the most common item. Ability is Airlock. The EVs are 6 HP, 252 attack, and speed to make sure it's as fast and strong as possible. You guys know the deal already with that. And nature, your most common one is going to be Jolly, but you can also run Naive if you are using some special attacking moves and you don't want to take that minus special attacking drop. Or if you want to just get more attacking damage off, you can go with something like Adamant, but you're going to be losing some speed ties potentially with other Rayquaza, which is not a good thing necessarily. Now, as far as moveset goes, you're definitely going to want to Dragon Ascent unless you don't plan on Mega Evolving your Rayquaza. Again, that is a special requirement in order to Mega Evolve a Mega Rayquaza, and it's just an incredibly strong attack. It's actually Mega Rayquaza's best attacking move, really. It's the most common attacking move you'll see it use. On top of that, you're just going to kind of want to tailor the moveset to whatever you want it to do. So Extreme Speed if you want that priority, Draco if you want to be able to hit things on the special attacking side, Dragon Claw, Overheat, Earth Power, Waterfall, you know, all that stuff depending on what you're worried about. Or you could also opt for something like Dragon Dance if you want to try and take the time to set up. Maybe this will allow you to build a bulkier Rayquaza and then use Dragon Dance to get that speed and attack back up to where you want them. And then, of course, you're going to be wanting Protect if you're not a choice set. If you are a choice set, you're going to want to switch Protect for another attacking move, which will be pretty nice. But in a nutshell, guys, that pretty much wraps up Mega Rayquaza. So remember, it is incredibly strong, but it is a glass cannon after Dragon Ascent. That move is its best and worst thing about it is essentially the fact that it hits so hard, but afterwards it's going to lose a defense and special defense stat, meaning it's a lot less bulky, it gets a lot more frail, and can probably be taken out in one hit at that point. And, you know, again, Mega Rayquaza can't really withstand 2 strong hits very well. It's just not that bulky. It suffers a little bit in doubles because you can easily double target it. You know, a fake out from a Mega Kangaskhan and a strong hit from your partner should probably be enough to take out a Mega Rayquaza. So it's not like it can't get feinted. It's not an invincible, unstoppable tank out there. It's a very strong hitting Pokemon, but it can also be hit very hard as well. One of the best keys to actually beating Mega Rayquaza, though, if you're looking to really stop it, the best way to do it is to outmaneuver Rayquaza. Don't necessarily do things like lead 2 Pokemon out on the field who are totally helpless against Rayquaza. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. Make sure if they have a Mega Rayquaza on their team, ask yourself, if that Rayquaza were to switch in right now, would I be okay? Would this be safe? Is this switch out okay, or is it going to put me in a worse spot? You know, really question your moves and make sure that you're in an advantage or an advantageous spot to, you know, be able to at least take a Dragon Ascent and possibly hit back hard. You know, bulky Pokemon are really good for that. They can take those hits and then hit back hard, especially after it loses those defenses. Another really good option that you can do, and probably one of the best options, is to use some strategic speed control options like Trick Room. Trick Room is one of Mega Rayquaza's biggest weaknesses because it's so naturally fast. Icy Wind is really good too. It lowers its speed and it hits it hard with a super effective ice attack. And then Thunder Wave as well if you just want to get that paralysis and slow it down tremendously. So these are all really good options. Speed control is probably one of your best ways to reliably take down a Mega Rayquaza. Worrying about a single Pokemon that just can downright counter Mega Rayquaza isn't really there as far as I'm aware. I don't know if there's really a single Pokemon that's like, yeah, you know, I totally love facing Mega Rayquazas. I one-shot them all the time and they can't do anything. Maybe you'll find a Pokemon like that and you build it like that, but that's not really how it works. The best way is just to outmaneuver your Rayquaza or your opponent's Rayquaza and just play around it. And make sure you just stay thinking about your moves and think about your position a lot. So that is about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of these analysis videos. We will be doing, I believe, Dialga and then probably Ho-Oh is next. Those ones were some ones that you guys had actually requested. And then be sure to check out my other videos as well. We did an analysis on Primal Kyogre a while back, and this is a really good partner for Mega Rayquaza. So maybe you want to kind of brush up on your Kyogre knowledge and check this guy out and make sure you're building him on your team as well. Or if you want to see some of these Pokemon in action, be sure to check out my new series, guys. It's VGC 16 Road to Regionals, where I will be climbing on the VGC 16 Battle Spot ladder now that it is finally out, and we are going to be trying to prepare for the regional championships. I should be going to one very soon in the wintertime, and after that we'll be practicing for nationals, so it'll be Road to Nationals, I guess. And you know, if things went incredibly well, Road to Worlds, but we'll see what happens at that point. I don't expect to go there, but be sure to check out those videos as well if you enjoyed this one. Thank you guys again so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next episode. So, peace out.